Hi everyone, we're here with Jillian Dion, one of the stars of Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, AC-28 BFS graduate. We're so proud to have you back. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So you've landed a role in an incredible project that not only features an A-list cast. I mean, you're working with Leonardo DiCaprio, you're working with Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese is directing. Talk to us about the experience of working on a project on that scale.
It was beyond my wildest dreams, imagination. Like when I initially got into acting with my initial big audition in LA, I kind of brushed it then. And since then I kind of flip-flopped with acting. I didn't really take it as seriously as I should have. I didn't give it the respect it deserved. Because really, when you think about it, you're respecting every facet of it. You're respecting the writers, the director, and you really need to have that discipline and love the material. It was definitely unexpected. It was a 7 or 8 audition process. So there were about 7 or 8 auditions before I got to the big dog and got to audition with Marty. Yeah, I think that was one of the main things. It was just on such a large caliber and just knowing you have to be so prepared. And know the script inside and out. Initially I auditioned for one character, was asked to audition for another, went back to the other, and then basically just a plethora of auditions. The last audition being with 4 other women. We were all vying for 5 other women and 4 spots. So there was a round robin where one person was inevitably not going to be cast. So there was a little bit of pressure with that too. And it was also just with Marty bringing us in each, and then each doing a Zoom with all of us and kind of just bouncing off one another and see what kind of worked. So that in itself was an insane audition process. I've not experienced anything like that before.
Sure.
It's insane working beside such seasoned actors and professionals and just seeing them able to drop into scene immediately. And then Marty is phenomenal. He knows what he wants. He knows how to get it out of an actor really quickly and really just magically. When you're on set with him, it feels like there's just a level of trust and a level of camaraderie. There's a level of professionalism, even if you are starstruck and in awe.
At what point did you settle in and start just really connecting with the character? And what was that process like? How did you transition from I'm working with these iconic figures to I'm in the scene?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for me it was initially right off the bat. I feel once you get into costume and you are on set, then you're in work mode immediately. My scene, first off, was with my peers. So the book is about 4 sisters. So I was, and a mother as well, as a plethora of other things. But my first scene was with my 4 sisters and my mother, so I was very comfortable with, and Marty as well. And just off the bat, he's amazing. So I think immediately, there's an immediate transition into professionalism. But you can always admire and whatever else. And I met Leo before we shot a scene, so it was important to meet off camera before you're thrown into a scene with him. So I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm.
De Niro was not so fortunate. It was right on camera with him. It's
Seriously?
a scene. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah. So.
Well, you mentioned discipline and preparation, and I mean, De Niro is synonymous with both of those things.
Yeah.
Tell us, for any young actor listening, what were the lessons you learned from working with an icon like Robert De Niro?
Humor. It was humor. We did a fairly serious scene right off the jump, but right before we did our scene, there was a little bit of humor thrown in there by him, which kind of caught me off guard. And I think it was almost a little test, or just a way to just shake me out of what might have been going on in my head. So with him, it was humor, and with Marty, I found that there was a lot of room to play with the script. Being word perfect wasn't necessarily, it wasn't mandatory.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of helped a bit, and just watching Robert De Niro do sort of a riff improv thing, but still stay in the scene and stay in character was really cool. But I would say humor. I think he he's funny dude.
And what about working with DiCaprio?
It was good. Yeah, same thing. Very professional. He came in, he just wanted to do his job type thing. And when cut was called, he wanted to see what was happening behind the scenes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the synopsis of Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah, so it's a book first written by author David Gran, pardon me. He really took a deep delve into the Osage Nation, which is what the book is about. So once upon a time, the Osage Nation, which are located in Oklahoma, were the richest people per capita in the world, based on all these oil deposits that they had found on their land, which was given to them by the government after they'd been moved from a richer land, I believe in Kansas. So they were moved to Oklahoma. Lo and behold, they found all this oil below where they lived. So these people were driving all the nicest cars. They were wearing furs. They had jewelry. They were sending their kids overseas to learn English. They had white servants. They had white drivers. So I think basically once that happened, people started to creep in and decide that they wanted a piece of the pie, and they would do it by any means necessary.
And by people, you mean white people?
Yes.
Yep. We're amongst friends, so you would say.
And yeah, they were marrying into the families, and they were garnering the trust of the indigenous people, the indigenous males, or they were marrying the women and subsequently killing them off by any means necessary. So it's all in the book. I mean, there's 4 sisters. My character was poisoned to death. My other sister was shot in the head. My other sister was blown up in a house. My mother was poisoned to death. And this is not a character. Like, these are real people. Like, this is based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
So just by any means necessary. And then once they gained these people's head rights, it gave them ownership of their land, their money, whatever, once they passed. So they were killing off the Native Americans for greed.
So this was a systemic and deliberate attempted genocide against Indigenous people.
Yeah.
Which is, tragically, if you know the history of the foundation of Canada and the U.S., this is nothing new.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that you also had the privilege of working on Alaska Daily.
Yeah.
Another project that deals, I mean, a contemporary project that deals with missing and murdered Indigenous women. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about, when you work on a project that I imagine the subject matter is so relevant and resonates with you personally, do you feel a different level of responsibility or pressure?
I think so, yeah. I feel like as an Indigenous woman, there's always like a pressure to, especially in this position, just because it is such a sensitive matter, because like everyone I know knows someone that's like missing, murdered, other terrible things that happen. So we all know somebody, so it's not really far removed. It's still happening every day, and it's happening now. So there is a pressure to really bring a truth to the story, because it's here. It's like it's so yeah. There's a pressure, but there's also a privilege and a I think almost, I don't want to say like a gift, but like a responsibility bestowed upon me to speak about it and speak honestly about it and unapologetically about it.
And now, in addition to, I mean, I named some of the icons you work with already, but to myself as a Canadian, I saw that Tattoo Cardinal is also in the film.
Yes.
Obviously, I imagine you're familiar with Tattoo Cardinal's work.
Yeah.
So what was it like working with an Indigenous icon?
She's amazing. She's a legend. Once the 4 sisters were cast, we were all sort of in communication with each other. And our mother had not been cast yet. And there was like so many whispers, and like, we were all like, we hope it's Tattoo. We hope it's Tattoo. And then she got announced, and we were like losing our minds, because she's like trailblazer queen. She's the reason why we're here, and for a lot of it. I love her. She's amazing. We're from one territory away from each other. So she is also Métis Cree.
Okay. So it was really the person.
We get along so well. She's actually starting a youth acting program for Métis youth in her territory, so in Kikino. And I am an instructor there as well. So I'm helping as much as I can, but she is still trailblazing. Like, she's in movies, but now she's helping kids that are like 8, 9, 10, up to 16 years old get their foot in the door, and like, just, she's still making moves at her age, and there's no sign of her stopping. After being in the industry for as long as she's been in, she's just like, no BS. She knows what she wants. She will not put up with crap. Mm-hmm. And she's just like not afraid to use her voice. And as an Indigenous woman, especially that probably grew up in a time where you weren't supposed to use your voice, her coming out and being so powerful and being such a, just like a rock for the Indigenous community and other communities that possibly look up to her too. She's phenomenal. She's, I can't say enough.
She's the GOAT. Yeah.
She's the GOAT. Yeah.
And do you hope to kind of mirror that blueprint with your, because I imagine once this comes out, your life has already changed significantly, but once this comes out, things will be quite different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna use my voice, and I'm happy to assist anyone that asks, anyone from home or otherwise. I kind of just hope to have even like 1/1000th of like what she's done. It would be an honor.
Thank you so much for coming here today. This was such a great conversation. We're so proud of everything you've accomplished. And, I love the fact that you're on a first name basis with Martin Scorsese, calling him Marty. That means a lot. But Jillian Dion, AC 28 acting graduate. Look out for her in Killers of the Flower Moon.